Hi, I'm Steve. You. Welcome to DigiVice. Today we're talking to Allan from Encore Accounting, who's going to talk about the stimulus packages that the government has brought out. So, giving us a little bit more information about how we can benefit as business owners and keep our businesses going through this pandemic. Hi, Allan.
Hi, Steve. How are you going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Tell you what, we're busy at the moment. I'm about to send a thank you card off to the government for all the extra work they're giving us. But then again, we're helping our clients, aren't we?
Yeah, but I guess they're not going to send any extra pay with all the work that they're sending you either, are they?
No, they're not. They're not. But we want our clients to survive. We want our clients to do well, and we want our clients, we want to say do well, so they can pay us a bit more in fees. No, I'm only joking about that. But these are times when people have to be a little bit charitable. They have to help our fellow business owners and members of society do improve and do well and get through these really, really difficult times. Unprecedented, totally unprecedented.
Yeah, and that's exactly what this is about as well. Just trying to help those people that need it, and some people that don't as well, that just want to listen and get a little bit more information to basically make better decisions.
Exactly. So what points would you like me to talk about today?
So the Jobkeeper this week was brought into legislation. So that has been activated, if that's the right terminology. But there's still a lot of confusion over that. So can we talk a little bit about that?
So the JobKeeper, an unbelievably great idea of the government to come up with that, which means that you as an employer are paying the unemployment benefit to your staff. The government's giving it back to you, that the people don't go on the dole. The government gives you the $750 a week. You pay it to your staff so it doesn't go through the system. And of course, they get tax on it. So yes, it's what tax office gets taxed on the 750, so that's even better. But look, there's a number of measures you've got to do to comply. As you know, there's a 30% rule. Your business has got to go down 30%. And I've had many people discuss how do you calculate 30%. So they've had a massive increase in sales in March because they're getting rid of all their old stock. April is going to be low, or so is that the criteria? And there are in fact three criteria for calculating the 30% decrease. If you haven't got a 30% decrease, you do not get the JobKeeper. And it is as simple as that. The JobKeeper only applies to that situation, 30% decrease. And I'm just going to go to that now quickly because so to calculate 30%, a lot of people are saying, what's it on? What about if my profit goes down instead of my turnover? Well, it's not based on profit. It's not based on reducing staff by 30%. It's based on turnover. And remember, your turnover is in your BAS. So every time you lodge a BAS, they know what your turnover is, so they can check. So there's three methods. You can compare March 19 to March 20. You can compare April 20 to April month 20 to April 19, and is that 30% down? Alternatively, you can do a forecast, a 3-month forecast, April, May, June, or May, June, July, and go, if I forecast my figures to be down, I'm going to apply for a JobKeeper on the basis of this forecast. That's why the paperwork's a little bit tricky. And then if your turnover doesn't go down, you apply for it and you get it, and you start getting paid, you got to give it back. That's going to be fun. I mean, imagine, you go, I'm going to keep my 3 or 4 of my staff on because I think I can get the JobKeeper. And then your turnover goes up in that forecast period, that if you choose forecast to be your method, you got to give it back. And then you've already paid your staff. So you can't get it back off your staff.
No.
I think you can. That might be a good trick.
Good luck.
And let's say you're only paying somebody $700 a week. Let's talk about $1,500 a fortnight, but let's bring it back to a week. let's say you're paying them $700 a week. You don't get it. So you've got to increase their wages to $750 gross, or $1,500 a fortnight, but $750 before you get the $1,500. So you've got your staff for free. If you've got staff on $1,500 or $750 a week, they're all free because the government's giving the money back to you. So you can have your business running really well and have all your staff there, and government's paying you as support, and it costs you zero for 6 months. 6 months the government's doing it. So you need to look at that. You need to look at whether that's the right way to go. Should I keep my business open? Should I have, is there something I can do, like retrain my staff? I mean, are they going to be able to do something in the office? And maybe you can employ them on a 2 days a week and put them on holidays for 3. You can do that. Now, Fair Work have come out and included a bit of a carve out to allow you to do just that. So let's say someone's got 3 weeks holiday accrued. And you go, well, let's use up this 3 weeks holiday. Let's put them on 3 days a week holiday and 2 days a week in the office because there's not much work to do. And I had this discussion just last week with a lady doing conveyancing, got a conveyancing company, and her work has just gone through the floor. Just all of a sudden, there's no conveyancing because there's no sales happening and people can't go and visit property. Cool. She said, I don't want my girls sitting there doing nothing all day. And I don't even want to go in the office. That's what she said. And so I don't want to be supervising them. So we looked at what the accrued holiday pay was, and we've worked out a system that people can be 3 days holiday out of their accrued holiday leave and 2 days of work. And then she's going to get them to tidy up the files and do a few things in the office, and maybe do a bit of training, a few extra things. So there's ways to work this, and you've got to be a little bit creative. You've got to be on top of how you can use the bonus, how you can use the stimulus, and how you can make your business continue on, because we're going to come out of this one day.
Yeah.
I don't know when, but we're going to come out of it. So be prepared and be in business when we do come out of it. And the reason this Jobkeeper was put in place was that when we come out of it, all those people have a job. They're not on a dole, they're now looking for a job and putting enormous pressure on the economy looking for a new job because they don't have to, because they've already got a job, courtesy of the government paying the employer the benefits, which is basically how it works. Does that explain it to you, Steve? Do you understand that?
Yeah.
You're an expert now. You got it.
So there's a lot involved, especially with the application side of things. I mean, how do you even determine what 30% is? I think that you mentioned that earlier, but like if you knock it out of the park this year and you get an influx of clients, that's going to show very differently to how you performed last financial year. So you might have taken on a couple of extra employees to help to fulfill that work. But because that's dropped off the 30%, it's not going to show up in your previous end of financial. So that's challenging.
It is challenging, and it's challenging for us because we're trying to advise clients what to do. We're trying to help them and make the right decisions. But we don't know the future. We don't know if all of a sudden in their business things are going to pick up. But usually most people that we're doing it for have suffered badly. Their restaurant's closed, or they're in entertainment in some way. They might be in entertainment in different areas that have just gone bad or gone down. Or it might be just this, they're in an industry that's related to something that's gone down. And there are a lot of things you don't even think about that have been affected. And it never surprises me. I go, gosh, I wouldn't have thought your business would be affected, but yes, there's nobody coming in the door anymore because A, B, or C or something, So it's hard.
Yeah. One thing that's been on my mind that hasn't really been answered, or at least hasn't been answered well, is say I'm a plumber and I'm a sole trader. I earn $60,000 a year, live a pretty good life. I don't pay GST, so I don't do BAS. I'm not entitled to anything, am I?
Well, you actually are. You're entitled to the $1,500 a week Jobkeeper. Now, we're still not, until we see the paperwork, and it's just starting to come out now. In the releases that were made, they said the Jobkeeper would allow those who are sole traders to get $1,500 a week. So, $1,500 a fortnight, I should say. Yes, you should be able to access that. How you're going to do it, I don't know, given that the entire system is based on single touch payroll and lodging electronically a BAS with the W1, W2 figure, and the W2 is the pay-as-you-go tax, W1 is the wages. So if you're not registered for STP, single touch payroll, and you're not lodging the returns each week as you pay, the tax office is not seeing that you're paying Mr. Smith $750 and then giving you the $750 back. They're not seeing that. So for a sole trader, we're not sure how that's going to work. They've said it in the release. It's in my booklet and my outline that I've put together. It's exactly the words that the government has said, and they've listed out what the rules are to comply. But we've got to make sure that we can fill out the paperwork to actually get the money. We want to see the money.
Yeah. Another thing that they brought out as well is early access to your super. So, I mean, $10,000 is a great price for a TV, right?
It's exactly. So 20,000 it is. It's 10,000 twice.
That's right.
And from the 20th of April of this year, people who are in financial distress can apply to the super fund or to the self-managed fund. And they've said that will be self-certifying. So previous financial distress, life-threatening diseases and things like that have always been in there to enable you to have early release. So we've had situations where clients have had a large trauma, like a big operation or something like that, that's life-threatening. And provided they get that letter from the doctor, they're okay and they can get an early release. This system, the government's trying to relax that, and they're trying to have an early release with a self-certifying. So in other words, you just write and you say, my business is blah, 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 and therefore I want an early release of 10 grand, and the super fund should just give it to them. Like no questions asked, just agree and accept. If you've got a self-managed fund, it's easier because you're applying to yourself, but you do need to do your minutes and acceptance in the same way an industry fund would. I caution people to do that, or to not do that, to be honest. I think that you need to leave your money in super. But let's say you're 40 and you take out 20 grand and you retire at 65. It's 25 years that $20,000 would have been accruing income and growing. And this is your money. Superannuation is not like something there as a fallback situation. It's your retirement money.
Yeah.
So if you take out 20 grand in 2020 and you retire in 2045, can you imagine what that 20 grand would have been worth in 2045? Probably about 200 or 300 grand would have been what it'd be worth. So, and you're never going to put it back. I can tell you now, people say, oh, I'll take it out early release, and then when things get better, I'll put it back. I'll put some money back in.
Of course.
But it doesn't happen. So I caution against it, but it's there. And look, if you're going to get chucked out in the street and can't pay your rent, other measures to cover that. But if they don't work, or if you can't buy your groceries or something like that, yes, that's different. That's survival, and you need to survive. But there's so many other things out there, like your job seeker, your extra stimulus bonus for seeking work and the Crown supplement. So there's a lot of those little extra things that are helping people who are out of work. And then, of course, you've got your rent relief, where you can go to your landlord and say, look, my wages have gone down 50%. I'd like a 50% reduction on rent. So there's some of those things. So I would do that first. Try to manage first and use the super early release as a last resort.
I've heard this great scheme that's going around, and I'm not sure if you've heard of it yet, where you access your super and then you put it back in and you gain the tax credits from your super. You put it directly back in.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know that with superannuation, you have a limit of 25,000 to get a tax deduction on. So any contributions that you're going to get a tax deduction for, concessional deduction it's called, you've got 25 grand. So if you drew out, and bearing in mind, there hasn't been any rule about that, but part of your super that's gone in as deductible, and you've received a 15% deduction, or the employer has, or 50%, it's been taxed 15%, will have a tax component. So when it comes out, it should be taxed at 15%. But of course, if you take out of the non-concessional component, then that will be tax-free. But you do have to be careful. I mean, about a year or so ago, 2 years ago, when we started to bring in the 1.6 million cap, when that came in, a lot of people were pulling money out and putting it back, putting it against their spouse. So there was a scheme, and we did a lot of them, and perfectly legal and perfectly legit, where you take money out of your taxed account and put it back into your non-taxed account, so that when you die or when dependents receive your superannuation money, or when you retire, the entire balance is tax-free, rather than having a part of your balance that's subject to 15%. So there are parts of it that are certainly legit, and certainly not really a scheme, but okay, and it can be accessed.
I imagine the ATO would be monitoring that, though.
Yeah, but it's not illegal, not wrong. If you took out 10 grand and put it back 6 months later and claim a tax deduction for it, there's no problem with that, because it's probably different money. You know, the notes have got different numbers on them.
Yeah.
No joking. But there's nothing wrong with that. That's perfectly legit. Take it out, add your non-concessional, and put it back and get a tax deduction for it, providing it don't exceed your 25,000 cap.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
So that pretty much concludes all my questions, really. Did you have anything to add?
Look, if anyone needs any help, more than willing to send us an email or drop us a line. We've put a very comprehensive booklet together on all these measures. Took a little bit of time to do that, and we're trying to help people through. If people need help with the Jobkeeper, we've put in a process to do that as well, because there is a lot of detail, unfortunately. When we started to look at it from tax office, we thought, whoa, there's more involved here than we thought. It's not just a matter of signing an app and registering, which the first process is more involved. So if anyone need any help with that, and we've got some fixed fee arrangements for doing that, those processes, and helping people access those benefits.
Great. Excellent.
All right.
Thanks for your time, Allan.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, Steve.